Today's guest is someone I've been wanting to talk to for a while. Tyree Dawson is a wedding photographer based in the Lake District. And if you've spent any time in photographer communities online, you've probably seen her generously sharing how she approaches marketing and social media. She runs a very busy photography business and has built a reputation not only for photographing a huge number of weddings each year, but also for consistently attracting inquiries through social media. What I'm really curious about in this conversation is how that actually happened, what her journey looked like, how her marketing background shaped the way she approaches things, and how she built a business that runs at that scale while still photographing weddings herself. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to The Unfiltered Lens, a podcast for creative wedding suppliers finding their way in business, online and everything in between. No pressure, no pretending. I'm Gina Fernandez, a photographer, filmmaker and work in progress, just like you. Here we mix strategy, stories and the stuff no one usually says out loud. If you're into real talk without the fluff, you're in the right place. Hello, Tyree.
Hi,
Thank you
Gina.
very much for joining me on the podcast. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. It's very sunny in the Lake District today. Start off
It
talking
looks
about
it.
the weather.
Yeah, typical. I can see the
that's
light
just
shining
my
down your face.
writing, but
Oh,
although it may run out halfway through and then you'll realise it isn't actually. It's sunny.
this is going to be great for the YouTube video.
Yeah, this one's on 25%, that one's on 96%, so I may go darker on this side at some point.
So if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, please do tune in just to see Tyree's version of Rembrandt lighting.
We could do one of those speech things that they do where you guess when the light's going to go off. How many minutes in?
So this won't be a long episode, I'm sure. This is going to be a long...
When that light goes off, we're stopping, Gina. That's how long you've got.
Oh, dearie me. So thank you very much for joining me. You know, for people who don't know you yet, though I don't know who that could possibly be, can you introduce yourself and actually also tell us a bit about where you're based and how you ended up there? And just tell me your life. Tell me where it all began.
I'll do it quickly. So hi, I'm Tyree Dawson. I'm based up in the Lake District, where I have pretty much lived all my life, apart from 5 years in Scotland. So I had 4 years at St Andrews University, where I did art history, and then a year in Edinburgh running a cafe, while my husband finished his degree. And then we moved back down here, and once we moved back, we realised how nice it was. We didn't really appreciate it growing up, and then we've been here ever since. And I shoot a ridiculous number of weddings. I do like almost 150 a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I might get in the Guinness Book of Records. Although I reckon there's probably a photographer in Las Vegas or something that's done more.
No, there cannot be. You have to be holding that title.
So I shoot lots of
weddings.
Yeah, lots of them are really short coverage because we get a lot of elopements in the Lake District. So my shortest package is 90 minutes.
Right.
So it sounds like absolutely loads, but they're very short. So they kind of slot into my day. I'm sure we'll get into that later on, but it's not quite as many. I'm not doing 150 full day weddings. It's quite a different market up here.
Oh my gosh.
And that's it. I live in a little cottage with 3 cats and 2 teenage kids, but one is now at uni and my daughter will start uni in September.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you know, I've always had a dream to have a little cafe.
Oh, so did I growing up.
Tea and
I
cake
used to make menus like the whole time growing up. Yeah, so I did get to do it for a year and I loved it. It was a little student cafe, so I took on the lease for a year. Absolutely loved it. And comparative to being a student, I made loads of money, so felt like I was rich for a year. It was great. Yeah, I loved it. My most expensive dish was a Cajun melt baguette, which was £2.50. But anyway, it was really busy, so yeah. Made lots.
That's amazing. And in Edinburgh as well, with all
I know.
the
Yeah, it was lovely.
history of the witches,
Yeah,
and that's a dream. One day, Tyree.
I know. Yeah, maybe I'll go back to it one day.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Weddings.
Just do a quick. How far is Gretna Green from there?
Oh, not far. Hour or so. Bit
There
less.
you go. A quick 2 hour package there.
Yeah,
Come back,
yeah.
serve
Fine.
a scone.
Weirdly, as a little side note, I get loads of wedding inquiries that think I'm a venue, and I can't work it out. I've managed to minimise it slightly by being even clearer, but you wouldn't believe how many times I get asked if if they can have pizzas the night before and if they can use the toilet. It's really
That's
strange.
incredible.
They come through my website, and to me, it is so clear I'm a photographer. And yeah, it's bizarre. I've changed a lot of my
Do they
work.
write it on the inquiry form then? Do they put that in the?
No, I can. Well, I can just tell by the way. So sometimes it's a bit vague because they're looking for an elopement package, but then it's like, can we bring our dogs, and how much accommodation is there, and can we have pizzas the night before? And I'm like, it's really awkward to reply to. I have a template for it now because it often where it says, I'm not sure
with a special signature.
Confusion. I am just a photographer, but here's my brochure, and it has links to some venues at the back.
That's crazy. There's got to be something somewhere. So, oh no.
I think it might be because I did loads of SEO work last year, which I've never done before, and I think I rank higher than some of the venues for the elopement package. So I don't know if they're just Googling it and then. But to get to my contact form, you have to go through quite a lot of information. Yeah, I want to ask people, but I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, you should ask.
Laugh, so I don't really mind. And I have got a pizza oven, so if things get.
You should put that on the contact form. Do you think I'm a venue? Yes, no.
Please tick here to confirm that you have actually already sorted a venue, because I can't offer that.
That's what you should do. That'd be amazing. Oh my God.
So I'm Tyree, and I'm not a wedding venue.
Thanks for making that clear. So you run a very busy wedding business then. So what does your year then look like? So you do 150. Does that mean you do multiple in a day? How many times during a week would you be out? How does that work for you then?
Yeah, so I occasionally do 2 in a day. I'm not.
Okay.
I prefer not to.
Why? Because they could run over.
It feels slightly odd.
Okay. Yep.
It's kind of, although even when you do loads of weddings, you want each couple to feel like theirs is the only wedding you've done, and to go from one to another in one day. It's slightly odd, but I'm very transparent about it, and I always let the couples know that there's 2 weddings happening. And actually, loads of the time, I get asked by couples, "Oh, have you got another wedding today?" Like, they kind of presume that I have, and the vast majority of the time, I don't. So I think it's only me that thinks it would be weird. We wouldn't think it was weird if a florist or a makeup artist or whoever had 2 weddings in one day. And I always leave a really, really big buffer between the 2, because I usually stay a lot longer than I'm supposed. Because especially if there's kids there or dogs or whatever, or bad weather, it always runs over a little bit. So I'd make sure that I was confident that I had a big buffer. So it doesn't happen often, but there's a few venues here where they do 2 in one day. So I know that they're quite strict with timings, and that we'll have to be off-site from the first venue by like 11:30 or whatever, and then I know that I've got like 2 hours to do a 15-minute journey. It's
right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from when you say that it feels weird, because I do a couple of short ones, and I would never. There have been occasions where it's been the same date, and people are like, "Can you not just do 2 in one day?" And I've gone, "No, not really." I think because you invest yourself a bit more into the dates, not just a customer coming through the door.
Yeah, it works absolutely fine though, and in some ways
Mm.
you're kind of in the zone even more because you are
Because you got,
just like, yeah, you're just ready, and you just quite often they're right across the road from each other as well. The venues, they're
oh, and
twice
that's
bigger venues,
okay.
so the only time where it's not been an issue, it's only been an
Yeah.
issue for me, is when the weather's really, really bad. So after the first wedding, I look like a drowned rat. I tie myself off like a dog in the car. Tried to appear at the second wedding looking like I'd not already been in a rainstorm. But the couples always know, and quite often, like you said, they want you to be able to fit them in, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'll always check with the other couple first. Have your plans
Right,
changed? Is
okay.
it still the two of you? I
Right,
just to let you know, I'll still arrive early and be able to stay a little bit longer. And as
right.
long as everyone's happy, I would never like hide the fact and sneak
Okay,
off and do
yes.
another wedding. So if everyone's happy with it, then
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's good.
that's
Have you ever had short days become longer because they, on the day, they go, can you actually stay for an extra 3 hours or something?
No, not too often. I think that's more likely to
Okay.
happen with a big wedding. Really, a lot of
Right.
the smaller weddings I do are quite package driven by the hotels, so they tend to follow quite a similar format each time. So they'll have the ceremony, and then say 2 hours later will be the afternoon tea. So there's such a structure to it that it makes sense for me to finish when they sit down to eat. So it
Mm.
just kind of runs in a similar way. Sometimes often people will add on coverage beforehand, so they'll decide that
Okay.
they start following you on socials and things, and they see pictures in the fells or at different locations, and they then want to add that on as part of their package.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So,
we get things added on.
and I'm just thinking now because obviously it can be venue dependent and their packages. Do you collaborate with venues to come up with packages with them?
No, not no, not really.
No.
I don't think so. But obviously, I work in the same venues a lot, so I know
Right.
all the people really well. I know how it runs and how it works. Um, Occasionally, people are kind of coming slightly more round to wanting to do things a bit more bespoke and a bit differently. So
Okay.
I think for a while nobody knew what an elopement was, and
Right.
and a lot of people still don't. They don't even know it's an option.
Hmm.
So everyone was quite happy to just go for a standard. This is the package. I think
Hmm.
now people are slightly wanting to tailor things and being a bit more
Okay.
confident. And actually, we might not want to have afternoon tea. We might want to have that the day before when we arrive, or
Right.
we quite want to go out into the mountains that afternoon. So, and the hotels are great at being flexible around that.
Okay.
So,
That
yeah,
sounds
but I
nice.
don't.
That.
I collaborate a lot with the venues in terms of like not like helping them with their marketing and doing marketing that
Right.
benefits them as well. And we talk and things a lot, but I don't really come up with specific packages for
Okay.
venues.
Yeah. Okay. So, how do you manage the workload? Because I'm guessing you're both the photographer and the editor, right?
Yes.
You're not outsourcing anything.
No, I pretty much do everything like in the business. Sam, my husband, does everything else.
Oh,
I top up parent mail lunch account. That's about it. No, that's not true. I do other bits and bobs. But yeah, in terms of the business, I do the editing, the shooting, the accounts, the video editing,
yeah.
marketing. Yeah, pretty much all of it.
And then, so when let's say you shot a 2 hour wedding at 11 o'clock, would you have
Yeah.
that edited by the end of the day?
So one of the things that's like a key part of my small wedding packages is they get the same, well, a preview within 24 hours, but 99% of the time it's the same day.
Wow.
And
Okay.
ideally, that's partly because a lot of them haven't even announced that they're going to be getting married. So they
Okay.
want to be able to share, or even if they have, parents and friends and things absolutely desperate to see some
Hmm.
photos.
Hmm.
So if they know that I can get the highlight video and some pictures to them later on that day,
Hmm.
then that's great for them to be able to share. But it's changed in that I used to probably only send like 5 or 6 portraits. Now now my workflow seems to have become that I deliver the highlights video the same day and about half to 2/3 of all their photos, so it's very nearly completely done.
Yeah.
At the end
So
of the day.
do you just do the whole thing anyway, but deliver a
No,
selection?
I only do that amount. But the preview is a part of the whole of every section of the day, so that then I can just quite easily map the edits
Right,
over
okay.
and finish it off. I have considered completely delivering it all, but I like there to be some other contact. I feel like it would be, I don't know, like I'd just hand everything over and that would be it by
Yeah.
on the same day. So I quite
Yeah.
like them to have something else to look forward to, I guess.
No, I get that. Yeah. I think I would want that as well as a client. I eloped, so I had a very
Right.
short package. We didn't have previews or anything like that. And I think the way we announced it was we designed a postcard that was ready to send out the day we got married. So we got married in Goa, and then I had a friend in the UK who just posted. I was like, right, we've done it now.
Yeah.
Can you post the postcards out? And I don't think we got any images for a good few weeks later. But I was fine with that. I was, next day previews or same day previews weren't really a big thing back then. That was 2017. But I don't know how I would have. I don't think I would have appreciated or liked to have been given everything that same day.
Yeah.
I think I would have wanted something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does the same. So it has just become a part of my workflow. And it means that I keep on top of stuff really well. But it is definitely one of the harder things about the way I run my business is that I always, like, so often I have a preview to do. So it's like, what are we doing this evening?
Right.
Well, I've got a preview. I'm doing a preview.
Okay.
It takes quite a long time and it takes up a lot of my evenings. It's not too bad if the wedding's earlier on in the day. I can kind of get it done, have dinner, and then just finish it off, and we've got the rest of the evening left. But quite often I'm up till, like, I don't know, 9:30, 10, carrying on doing it. So
right,
it can be quite all-consuming doing it that way. But
so have you established almost like a pattern or a set? I'm gonna look for these moments because that works well in a preview, and that's what I send out. Just so it's more manageable for you, right?
Yeah. So because I shoot hybrid now, like it's always hybrid for smaller weddings.
Yeah.
It means doing the video as well. So I basically do the video while the all of the image files are uploading, syncing. I'll stop and then cull them quickly, and then they run through like the first AI edits to speed that up. So I can build the highlight video by the time the images are ready for me to work on them. So which sounds like I'm doing it ridiculously quickly, but with a small wedding, this sounds awful, but the timeline is always there's only so much you can do.
There's only so much.
They all look completely different because the couples are different and their styles different and the weather's different. But actually, in terms of what happens when, there's a lot less variety than there is with big complex weddings. So I know what tends to work. I know which bits of like B-roll that I need to put in of the scenery or details, and also there's not so much having to make sure you've got all the different guests and things featured evenly. So it is quite a simple format to put together and then match to music, and it's only normally a couple of minutes long. So
no, I totally understand that, because fellow hybrid shooter like yourself, it's you do sort of establish like you've got like
like a
formula, pretty much, and especially with the short ones, because I offer a little 2-hour package locally, 2-hour photo and video package, and very similar to yourself. There's a formula, so you can get it done. But you try and put a little individual spin on it, because there naturally will be anyway.
There always is.
That's amazing. And And I suppose does it help that your children are older and you
Yeah,
can do
definitely.
that
Yeah,
more?
I couldn't
Yeah.
have done this volume when they were younger. It's I don't think anyone tells you about how it changes as they get older. So when they were young and I was doing a lot more big Saturday weddings,
Mm.
my like main aim in life was to try not to be working every weekend. Like I would really try to limit myself to only two a month, so I had the other two off, so we could all go and do things, and I'd like do lots of marketing around midweek weddings and smaller weddings. I know that was just kind of starting to pay off and work because back then as well, people booked and organised weddings with a lot longer lead time.
Right.
So it was a bit like
Yep.
turning a ship. You'd like decide something and you'd have to
Yeah.
put everything in place, and then slowly your marketing would pay off like 18 months down the line. So I just
Yes.
kind of started doing more midweeks and having weekends free, and that kind of coincided with the kids being old enough that they were getting part-time jobs or they were just out seeing their
Right.
friends every weekend. So I'd have a Saturday off and I'd be like, I could have
There's
taken
no
that
one
with
here.
actually there's nobody here, or I'm just driving them around and dropping
Oh,
them.
yeah. Taxi. Yeah.
So yeah, so your family time I think changes a lot as the kids grow up, and like now I've always felt like meal times in the midweek in the evenings are the time when we probably all sit together the most and chat and like have a I don't know, do some like games or have a laugh or whatever. Like that
Yeah.
time is way more precious to me than most weekends when everyone's just off doing their own thing anyway. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
nice. So
But
looking
they need you in different ways as they get
right.
older. But
Okay.
I do think time wise I just sit and edit lots and have anxiety about what they're doing with it, rather than like physically having to make sure that they're not tipping something over or pulling something or like damaging things. It's more anxiety which I can edit through that time, so it's more
God.
productive.
We're looking forward to. I mean, mine are 13 and 11,
Right.
and I'm starting to see
Yeah.
that. So I'm starting to see Saturdays and Sundays. Like, can I go out with my mates?
Mm,
And then, in the summer holidays, whole days
yeah.
away just at their friend's house. And that anxiety was always there from the day they were
Yeah.
born. So I
Yeah.
totally
Totally.
understand that.
Yeah.
I can't even watch my children run because
Mm.
I just think they're going to
Oh,
fall over. It's
I'm
just
exactly the same.
horrible.
Yeah. Wait till they're driving.
No, I don't.
Horrendous.
So, because when you were saying that, I was like, I bet it's when they're driving, because that's
Yeah.
what that's going to be so nervous about.
And
Oh
Live
dear.
360, so we all have the Live 360
Oh
app,
yes.
which is like a blessing and a curse because it's good because you can
Yes.
check where they are and you know when they've arrived somewhere, but also you can check where they are all the time and it's quite
I'll check my Instagram notifications and Live 360.
Yeah.
Oh dear God. So I suppose looking back, that's probably was your turning point, right? That allowed your business to grow to another level, would you say?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or was there another point?
I don't know really. I mean, I have always been pretty. So I started off doing weddings alongside a job in marketing that I did for quite a few years, and then so I probably did that for like 5 or 6 years. I did both alongside each other, and then 2015 we used to run a bed and breakfast as well. So we had a lot going on. So I don't really know what happened because I just worked at everything all the time. So gradually we
Tyree, this is why they think you're a venue. There must be something.
No, this was years ago. They definitely no, they can't. There's no trace of that anywhere anymore. I probably could be a venue. I'm sure I've got time. Yeah, so we stopped doing the B&B, and then I gave up the marketing job, which I really loved and really didn't want to give up, but I decided I couldn't actually do everything. So it was from that point onwards, which was 11 years ago, that I just did one thing, which was so nice to just focus on one job after doing so many different ones. And yeah, I think just since then, really, I've always been pretty busy. It's just the types of work that I do and the proportion of it that's different now.
Right. Okay.
And I think things like I'm not a fan of AI, and I hate it when it's wrongly used. It drives me mad. But being able to use it to save time in certain parts of the business has meant that I can take on more weddings and more work, definitely. And that
And
in the last kind of 18 months, 2 years.
and by that, do you mean the editing software?
Yeah,
In terms of the
so
culling
yeah.
aspect.
So I sometimes use the culling for larger weddings,
Yes.
but only to, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into. So
Whatever you
I
want to
set
say.
it up. I didn't like the way that it was supposed to work, but I worked out a way to use it for my own means. And so
Yes.
I basically used it to create two folders, one for people with closed eyes and one for blurred pictures. So then I could look at all of those and cull those first and add back in any that
Yes.
were useful.
Yeah.
And then I would go to cull the kind of half that were left. So it just made it more manageable. It split it
That's
down.
how I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And so I
look through
sometimes
all
do
the
that.
duds first.
Yeah. So that speeds things up a bit. And then I use AfterShoot to do like a first edit in Lightroom, which then I just tweak. And then the second half of my editing is all done in Photoshop. So that's not as easy to automate.
Right.
So that's where I kind of add in colours and textures and all sorts of different things. So I still do that side of it, but even just having the Lightroom bit has speeded things up a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I did wonder about your Photoshop use because your work is iconic. Tyree bed and breakfast. you know your photos.
My venue.
But you can spot it a mile off. And I've seen you in you're very part of lots of communities, and I see you pop up, and I've seen you speak about using Photoshop, and I did. Yeah, so that's still part of your workflow.
Yeah, it is, and I would never move away from that. I'm not ashamed to say that I use AI because I didn't use it for ages because I thought it was completely counter to everything that I stood for in my editing. But then when felt like I was struggling to cope with the amount of editing, I gave it a go, and actually I realised that it was better at being me than I was. It was just more, it learned how to do the things that I was doing to every photo and just speeded it up and was much more decisive, and that worked. But then the bit that I do in Photoshop is, I think because I studied art history and really I wanted to be a painter, but I hate mess and I'm really bad at clearing up afterwards. And plus it takes ages to dry and it's just all a bit, and wrecks your hands and everything. So but I kind of like to treat this sounds really over the top, but I like to treat my images like paintings. So the bits that so to me, oh God, this sounds really bad. But
no, it doesn't, because that's how I view your work. To me, it looks like a painting, like an artist has drawn that.
Yeah, well, that's my favourite compliment. If someone said, "Oh my God, these look like oil paintings," then I'm like, yes, that is exactly what I want. How I want people to feel is that they look like oil paintings, but they still have feelings and an emotion in them. That's what I'm kind of aiming for. So to me, the technical side of using the camera is like having a sketchbook when you're there and getting the image and proportions and everything as close as I can to how it looked with my eyes. So it's like a record of what I saw. And then when I come back and edit, that's when I want to recreate how it felt and add in various other elements. So I've spent like years and years designing different Photoshop actions and like light blooms and painting colours in and adding textures in, just because I want it to feel. I don't think the camera can capture how it feels. It can capture emotions between people and things, but it can't really perfectly interpret the light and recreate exactly how it is.
Beautiful, what you've just said. That's amazing. And
so
you've created a hybrid version of art and photography for yourself as well. That's amazing.
Which is why I spend quite a lot of time taking out distractions and things out the back. So I love street photography, and I love looking at people's work that is purely documentary and has things in it that we'll look back at in 10-20 years and say, oh my God, look at those fire exit signs, they're so old. I can remember when we actually stuck them on the wall. I like all that side. But I take, and I do try to include some images in a gallery that will have those things in. And that's why I shoot on film as well, because I like to have those kind of more realistic images. But I will take out things like that, because I think if I was sat there painting the scene, I would not paint a fire extinguisher behind the couple. So that's like my test, is if I was doing a painting, would it be there?
Just for a pop of colour. This red fire hydrant thing. Yeah, that's perfect. I was going to say, like, how do you keep showing up creatively when you're running such a busy business? But I wonder if would it be fair to say that creatively that's in the edit? Is that where you're exercising that muscle more?
Yeah, probably. I'm just completely obsessed with creating stuff constantly. Like, I literally can't. Yeah, I just can't stop doing it all the time. I think about it all the time and do it all the time. And I get so excited by like different trends in different ways to capture things. So like, I know you've got a camcorder as well. I think we've talked about that before. Like, oh my God, I've got to get a camcorder. We've got to try that out. And like, there's so many different ways to capture things. And I think because I work a lot of the time in rural venues, I can have a lot of kit, and I can leave a lot of kits like fairly safely lying around. So I don't have to travel particularly light. I'd be a nightmare if I had to shoot in central London. I'd need loads of staff to just carry on.
Because I saw your reel this morning it's about you leaving your lens just lying about.
I do have a lot of stuff, and now of course I have like 8mm cameras, 35mm cameras, a camcorder. Like, I have joked that I should probably have my watercolors and an easel and just like pop them up and start doing a watercolor halfway through. Like, it is getting ridiculous. Sometimes I put all my kit down when I come to eat, and I'm like, I feel like some kind of Christmas tree that's just got a million different formats of capturing your day hanging off.
You know who you'll be pushing a trolley next. You'll be that little thing in Labyrinth.
I have said to some, like, it'd have to be like an off-road one though. Maybe a design one.
Oh my God, get one. Get a trolley bag.
I can't remember who it was. Oh, I think it was at the Nine Dots things last week. Someone said that we could have camelbacks so that we can drink. So that could be another thing to work into the trolley. I always feel like I'm a one-man band as well, because I've got like my tripod and things hanging off me. And so, maybe like a one-man band trolley camelback collaboration.
Oh, you'll have to get a leather one, a vegan one as well. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All the colours.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. I'll tell them at my wedding venue.
Oh, dearie me. God. That's amazing. That's just, you're very creative. Just,
and this is just I come up with business ideas all the time. It's a nightmare. This is why I have to stay busy, because when I used to have months where I was a bit quieter, I'd be buying caravans and trying to do them up and like start building a new website for something else. I'm an absolute nightmare. So it's better if I just do lots of weddings.
Mate, I'm exactly the same. I've already got something else new I'm starting on Friday. Like, I've got all these little ideas.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm pretty rubbish at is I have I'll have loads of ideas on a dog walk, and I'll come home and I'll jot it all down on how I'm going to do it, but I don't actually act on it straight away. I pause. And I've noticed that I suppose people who I feel are getting ahead, and I say that in air quotes, are people who just execute. They don't, there's not much lag between idea and execution. And fail fast and you carry on. And actually, as a family, we're doing a family project of learn to fail fast. So we're just coming up with ideas, and we're doing it with the kids as well, because we're like, what job are you going to get with AI taking over? We're going to have to think outside the box. So just getting them to think more creatively,
Mm.
and just go for it and just have a go.
Yeah.
And something that I started last year was not having that lag time. So I've got an idea, just go for it and
Yeah.
see. And you don't always have to talk about it. You don't have
Yeah.
to just see how it
And if it
goes.
doesn't
And
work, people don't notice,
people
do
don't know.
they?
Yeah, exactly
So the
that. Yeah.
company I used to work for, when I did my marketing role,
Yeah.
it's called Impact, and it's a local company, and it's leadership development. And they had the
Right.
most one of the reasons I loved working there is because they had the most amazing culture of embracing failure and not being worried
Right.
about failure and innovating. And it was, I worked in a lovely charity before that, but every decision and idea had to go through several committees before it would
Right.
be understood that it was a good idea. By
Right.
which
Yeah.
point the tea room had already closed.
Yeah.
It was too late.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas this one was very about being fast moving, not being worried about, if you have an idea, you blurt it out, and everyone will support that. Nobody will go, well, that's not going to work. You always
Yeah.
have to respond in a positive way and to build on it, or to say, well, what about this? And I think I still take a lot from that if I'm in a conversation and it feels like we're being creative, I'll always say, this might be a really bad idea, but I'm going to say it anyway, just in case it sparks something with somebody else. I think it's really important to just blurt things out and just, like you say, just get stuff out there and see what happens, and not be worried about what people think or whether it's going to fail.
Exactly that.
And that's exactly how social media is, I think.
100%.
And it's what holds people back from posting.
That's a great little segue into social media, because that's something I really want to talk to you about. I know recently you spoke at an event about your approach to social media. Just before, I suppose you just touched on it a little bit there about just going for it. But what is your philosophy really around social media?
That's a big question.
It's a big question.
With a big scary word like philosophy. Should we go with approach?
Go with approach. I mean, okay, what do you think?
What do I think
photographers misunderstand about social media?
So I think I find it harder to talk about what I do without getting into lots of detail on systems and what I would do. But I think, especially from like working on the talk that I was giving last week, which was about how to use social media to build your business, I found it quite interesting thinking about it all and thinking I mean, I think all small businesses have barriers to post. Not all, lots of small businesses have barriers to posting on social media, and a lot of them are things about time, because quite often it's one person doing every job and social media is another job to do. And obviously there's things like confidence to factor in as well. But the thing I've always found odd is that I honestly believe that marketing is a really creative task, and it suits creative minds, and that's why I absolutely love doing it. And I'm constantly shocked that everyone else who I know, who's photographers and videographers and other creative wedding industries as well, wedding suppliers as well, is that they hate it and they find it really frustrating and they don't enjoy it. And I'm like, but it's creative. You're a creative person. So if the algorithm change, or if we now have to post videos rather than photos, well, it's not impossible. We'll just innovate a way to do that. And it might be a little bit frustrating, but frustrating things happen in business all the time. And we can just look at what we've got and look at a different way of doing it. And to me, it's like, oh, right, well, that's quite difficult, but I'm going to find a way to like make this make it really cool. And I'm going to do like a slideshow of images. If we have to shoot video, that'll be fine. We'll work something out. But people find it really frustrating. So then I was thinking, why is that? Like, why don't... And I think the conclusion that I came to was that photographers and videographers, our main role, our purpose is to create content that is perfect and it's artistic. I mean, obviously, there's different interpretations of that. But on the whole, we're creating professional content, and it has to be very intentional in whatever way that might be. And we don't want to put anything out there that's not perfect. But with social media, it's a completely different art. and it's much more, especially at the moment, it's becoming even more about behind the scenes and personality, and people want things to be less perfect and more real. And I think it's very difficult for a lot of creatives to embrace that and to put things out there which they feel compromise how perfectly artistic their work looks. So one thing I was kind of hoping to challenge people with the talk that I did is to ask themselves what their account is and what it's for. And there's no right or wrong answer, but I think a lot of people are creating a beautiful online portfolio of work, which is fine if that's what you want. But if you're wanting to use social media as a business development tool to bring in new people and reach new markets, then you need to ask yourself whether you might need to bow down to what it's asking you to do, and to crop images so that they're vertical, or start shooting more in vertical, to put text on top of things, even if it pains you to do so, because that's going to make it clearer to potential couples what the content's about. It's going to intrigue them, it's going to educate them, it's going to help with SEO for the posts. So all of those things can be quite painful for creatives to do. But I think once you start doing that, you, speaking from personal experience, you then see the content perform better, and you then realise that that's why that account is there. It's not, there's other places in marketing where we can show our work exactly how we want to, and we can design the format perfectly, but we're not in control with social media, and we need to use it in the way it's supposed to be used.
So clearly you're approaching the social media aspect with as much creativity as you're approaching your art. So, and then that's really interesting, because I saw an artist, like a painter. I saw his reel, I think it was this morning, first time I come across this guy, and the reel was fantastic. He must have been about 60 years old, I'm guessing, judging by the way he looked. And it was, he'd produced almost like the CCTV footage of him about to steal a handbag. And then the whole thing flipped, and it was just about him trying to show a piece of artwork. It was just, I know, I can't explain it properly, but it was absolute comedy. It was genius. It was creative, and it came from an artist. And the whole point of this 30 to some cases 60-second reels was to say, have a look at my painting that I painted. But he was hooking, he was tricking you right through, and then at the end he'd go, by the way, this is the piece of art. And it was absolutely fantastic. And I think it just made me relate to what you just said about, as a creative person, he's gone and taken
it's
on
a different
social
it's
media.
Another media to use
100%.
to create,
and he's played with it, and he created exactly.
One of the things that I kind of ended my talk with last week was about consuming intentionally. So what you've just done there is, like, the vast majority of us like to spend time on social media for our own interests, and we'll scroll and spend longer than we think we are on those platforms. But a good way to justify it is to do it intentionally. And obviously whenever you interact with a piece of content, it gives signals to Instagram or TikTok that content is valuable, and it'll then share it with more people. So if you're giving those strength signals to someone else's content, ask yourself, why did you share it? Why did you send it to somebody? Why did you save it for later? And was it just purely the content, which it might be, but it's more likely because of the format, or the way it started really intrigued you, or that the caption has so much useful information and tips, or a recipe, that you're going to save it and come back to it later. So I think just being aware of why content catches our eye and is interesting and valuable, and then just literally stealing those ideas and saying, right, so how could I do the same for my potential customers? What would make them save a post? What would be interesting to them? How is it going to stand out? And same with any kind of creative practice like photography. You get inspiration from, you don't just get inspiration from looking at other wedding photographers, you get it from films or from shop window displays. So it's just looking at how other people use that medium and stealing like an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I do wonder. I think what many can get wrong is to only look within that our own
Yeah.
peer group and seeing what that person, that particular photographer or videographer is doing, and then you get trapped into, oh, then that's how I've got to do it.
Yeah.
And that's not thinking, that's not being creative with it. That is doing, I suppose you're going to get lost in a sea of sameness. And I do wonder, I know you talked about time limitation and confidence limitation. I do wonder if there's the fear, because it's linked to a financial aspect, that's probably what stops people being creative with,
do you mean
their social media,
because
it can impact their bookings?
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. It's
but the other side of that is going for it could actually open up huge,
and I think
financial...
the good thing as well, what I would suggest with anyone who's feeling nervous about changing the style of their content or starting to play around with different, like bringing their personality in, is remember that there's always different parts of the platform that serve different purposes. So it's probably like 18 months or so ago that I started to kind of turn up more on my account. And I hated it because I hate the way, I can't stand the fact that my face is there right now and I can hear myself. And, you know, it's the same for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
So I started gradually, and I started on stories, and I would have the camera facing the other way. So I'd be at a wedding venue or something and I'd be recording, and I would add in a voiceover. And I would say, today I'm at such and such, really exciting, you know, normal, whatever stuff, and put the captions on. And I quickly found that people it just got more traction if it had a voice on. So I was like, oh, maybe my voice isn't that offensive. And then eventually I was like, right, I'm going to talk to the camera, because it's a bit weird if the camera's always pointing the other way. So I gradually started doing that. And look, everyone's liking that now. That's all right. And then I don't know, the more you do it and the more you see people just send you a little message saying, oh my God, that colour really suits you. Or, like, oh, I love your necklace. Where did you? And you're like, oh my God, people actually, it's like real life. And like people don't hate me. I think I'm weird. Well, some people do, but they don't message you. So that's fine. And then I think I quickly kind of grew in confidence about just showing up more and just not overthinking everything. And it's not easy, and it's still not easy. And sometimes I have to force myself to just press add to story and not think about it too much, or I'll start feeling self-conscious. But the more natural you are, the easier it is. And the stories are only there for 24 hours. And if people are bored or they feel like you're posting too much, we all skip past stuff all the time. It's not like we're going to go into each account and unfollow them and then go, like, you just flick past. We all do it. So I think people almost flatter themselves too much that everybody cares.
I so agree. I agree with everything you said. Stories for me was what unlocked everything, because it was 24 hours. And also, it doesn't even have to be 24 hours. You can have full control. You can delete it. No one's going to know. But it was when stories arrived, that's when I started talking to the camera. And then it became a case of, well, actually, I'd like longer than 60 seconds. Thank you very much. Or I'll do a 3-minute reel talking to the camera. Yes, exactly that. Yeah. And you can, sometimes what I've done is gone back through the archive of my story posts, downloaded those stories that have done really well. And you can create a reel out of that. It's done. It's done.
I have occasionally, because I tend to I use a lot of behind the scenes on my grid, but not so much of me talking. But occasionally when I go to put something on stories and think, actually, I feel like this is going to go down quite well, I'm going to put it on the grid instead. And sometimes it's just been me going, oh my God, I've just got back from a wedding and it was amazing and the weather was horrible, but the couple were just insane and here's the pictures. It's like, it's literally just a blur. And I wouldn't have done that 18 months ago at all. I would have done a very carefully
Yeah,
positioned carousel if there's still images, but people feed off that personality and
they do.
excitement, and whether it's because they've already booked you and they're excited about meeting you at the wedding,
Exactly.
or they just want to see what it's like and how you sound and what your sense of humour is. Yeah, it's all positive, I think, unless you're a really
Uh,
horrible, boring person. But for most
and
people, it's
and if you are getting that feedback, then you can change tactic and point the camera
go for
somewhere
the
else.
portfolio, the pretty portfolio.
But it's having a go to find out where you're to develop those strengths and
Mm,
find out what works and what doesn't, and then you can start thinking about how are you going to stand out from the
yeah,
crowd, really. I mean,
yes,
personally, I don't do a lot of behind the scenes because I'm a lazy bastard and I completely forget, but also I don't find it works as well as for me than the ones where I'm speaking to the
yeah,
camera, so I don't really tend to bother. And then the third factor is I feel that a lot of people are doing behind the scenes.
mm,
So I'm just going to end
yeah,
up blending in with them. And so I can't stand
true,
out in
yeah,
that way. So I don't do that.
yeah.
But, you know, I
I
find
have
something
got
else that works
I
for
have
me.
got some tips for behind the scenes if you
Go
want me
on then.
to give you
Go on then.
those quick.
Because I've got an Insta 360, I've got the hot
Yeah.
shoe mount, you know.
So I completely agree that it's really difficult to get behind the scenes when you're working, and I have the same problem all the time that I'll be at an amazing wedding and it's only when I get back in the car or I sit down to eat my meal that I'm like, oh crap, I didn't get my phone out, didn't get any behind the scenes. Um, but I've been thinking about this a lot as well, and I think that's true. And I think it means we're focused on delivering for our clients,
Yeah.
and we're not thinking about future clients, and we shouldn't be. But I also think it's a very convenient excuse for not getting behind the scenes.
Go
And
on.
I think it's because we're photographers and
Yeah.
videographers, and again, we're used to producing perfect, creative, different content, and we need it to be artistic. And I think what we need to do is to get over that and to just get in the habit of getting, all we need is 3 to 5 second
Mm-hmm.
clips. That's all you need to open a reel or a TikTok that's going to have text on top. Literally just get out your phone, film 5 seconds, put it away again. Don't even look at it until later. And I think it doesn't need to be the most inspiring
Right.
content. It just, everything, if you're planning a wedding, everything is intriguing. Any snippet of the venue
Right.
you're considering is interesting. It doesn't need to be that, TikTok worthy bride coming down the aisle with the
Yeah.
perfect light. It doesn't need to be that. We just need to collect assets that we
Yes.
stick on our camera roll that we use
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
another time. And to us, oh, there's
Yeah. I just see the cat.
um, to us, it's boring, everyday stuff, but that's
Yes.
what people want to see. Like, I would love to see what pilots do before they get on the plane. I would love to
Yes.
see what chefs, like how they unpack their shopping and put it in the fridge. Like, all of these things are interesting if you're not actually in the industry. So, another thing I always say for behind the scenes is if you absolutely can't do it while you're working, think about what you can do at home. So some of the stuff that I use the most is me cleaning a camera lens, or
Yeah.
me sorting out memory cards, or taking a camera out of the bag. Like, just things that we do day in, day out that people don't normally see. And it catches
Yeah.
your eye while you're scrolling, probably more than a bride walking down the aisle, because it's like, oh, look at all those memory cards. I've only got one of them. That,
Yes.
that photographer, they've got like 30 or,
Yeah.
it's just different, isn't it? It's
No, I
little
love that tip.
insights. So,
That intrigue is, yeah, because it is so everyday to us that we do forget. But that's such a good tip to get bits, because I think most of the B-roll I've got is either that the venue's recorded me, or I've had a second shoot, or have just done it really nicely at the kindness of their heart, or I've poked something or threatened them, or or it's me drinking coffee.
yeah. But
That's the,
again, that's totally fine. I think so. A lot of people like to work on batching posts and then
yeah,
scheduling them. That does not work. I have a completely different system. That does not work for me at all. But what I do think is good to batch is B-roll. So put
yeah,
aside an hour or 2 hours when you've had your hair done, you've got your nails are nice, just go through, put your camera in 5 different angles,
yeah.
and record different clips, whether you're drinking a cup of coffee or like putting a film in an old camera, or then just bits like that. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that I constantly go back to and chuck into a template and shove some text over the top of. So it's not, I think we overthink it again.
I agree. I did on a day like this, or I went down to Rutland Water, which is local to me. I took a tripod, I took a phone, and I took an old film camera, and I just filmed myself. And I met so many people. I was so nervous. I'm like, oh God, people are gonna just laugh and point at me. But I spoke to so many people. Like, oh, you're here recording content, and these people are 70 years old. Some people joined in. And no one bat an eyelid. And there's me with my tripod at an iconic site, moving around, just taking pictures of, recording footage of me just walking down.
Yeah.
And it now lives as a little hybrid video on my website. It's my own little promo video of what. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a great tip.
I think that what came out of last week's 9 Dots event as well is, I think nearly every speaker touched on, is that personality is just so important to bring into your marketing. Like it always has been, but now the market is so saturated that sometimes your personality is the only thing that's going to make you stand out from everybody else. But also how quickly AI is developing, and I'm sure lots of people will have seen that post where the AI generated wedding photos of a couple that didn't even exist. Obviously couples are going to see that as well, and it's becoming, we're sort of entering a form of reality where it might even be possible to share content when you've never even been at a wedding. So anything we can show that is, I'm a real person. I have a cat that's just walked past. I made soup for my lunch. I am driving to a venue. Oh, look, here's me at a venue putting a card into my real camera. It's all just emphasizing that we're real people running a business.
So true.
It's so important to do that. If you're going onto a wedding photographer's Instagram account to consider booking them, and all you see is perfectly polished images, and then they're shared to the stories, and there's nothing else.
There's nothing
apart from maybe a perfect headshot of them holding a camera. That's very different.
So true, because they're not just looking at yours; they're looking at 4 others, and if all 5 of you look exactly the same, you're gonna force that person to compare and price shop at that point, because there's nothing else to stand out to mark you as remarkable. So
or memorable either.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so important. So you touched on your approach being being more flexible than scheduled, which actually that I very much like that. Can you talk about your approach and how do you do things if you're not batch creating?
Without it taking me 45 minutes. So basically I have a system with folders on my phone for different venues and different situations, like brainy weddings, or very bright sunshiny weddings, or dancing photos. So I have everything ridiculously organized. So every time I create a post, those slides for that post are then saved into folders. So all the time, instead of building a series of single posts, I'm building a big library of ready sized content that can then be really quickly dropped into templates. So with my marketing brain on, my marketing metaphor is that I have 4 different plants that I need to water, which are the different levels of leads. So fans, hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. And then my watering cans are different types of content. So I have inspirational content, which is the type that most people share all the time. That's your pretty pictures, kind of A-roll work. Then educational content, then promotional content, which is your kind of harder sell. So if you're running an offer or Black Friday sale or something like that. And then entertaining content, which would tend to be more on stories. So once I've got that big library of content, I then try to produce a range of different posts with different watering cans and different plants.
That's amazing.
But that's just it's all in my head. Like that's just,
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
like have today I'm going to pick up this watering can.
Right.
It's not
Okay.
structured. It's more just a sense of right. The last 5 days, I've just fired out posts really quickly using templates that are quite vague. Like they're just I can shoot rainy weddings. Here's me getting soaking wet, and here's the pictures at the end. So then I'll think,
Right.
right, I feel like I need something a bit beefier now. I'm going to spend a little bit more time and do a post that's a bit more educational and save worthy. And what people who are planning a wedding in the Lake District at the moment, what might they be struggling
Okay.
with? Or, oh, look, there's loads of open days happening. I'm going to put them all in one place so that people can save that carousel and see which weekend's going to be the best weekend to come up to the Lake
Right.
District.
So there's definite consideration behind it. Would you say
Yeah.
those plants are your content pillars, or do you even have content pillars?
So
No.
I'm not. My brain does
Okay.
not accept pillars or buckets. I tried for ages to work with pillars and buckets. It doesn't work. Yeah, I need to be watering plants.
Watering plants. That's what works for you.
But I
Okay.
just have it in the back of my mind, and every now and
Yeah.
then I think I haven't actually put a call to action in anything,
Yeah.
or I haven't actually told people how to book me. I'm just going to say,
Yeah.
if you want a brochure, this is what to do.
And I suppose you've been doing it for a while, so it's more I suppose it's automatic or it's natural.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think the only way you're going to get there is if you actually start, right? You have to start
Yeah,
doing
totally.
this, and
And
then you'll build your
another
system.
thing which is really important to me is to only, again, I don't look in massive depth at my analytics and statistics and things, but I do always look at the 30-day rolling amount of views and reach. And so I know what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
And if it starts to dip, then I know that I need to put a little bit more effort and time and maybe come up with some posts that are going to get some more saves and shares rather than just likes. So I keep an eye
now
on
Instagram gives you a notification and tells you what you're doing every
Yeah.
month. So yeah.
But I think looking at that rather than individual posts is more motivating and less scary because it gives you more time to turn things around. So all the time, like last week, I finished writing my presentation on how to use social media, and I did a post which literally followed all of my advice, and it did so badly. I was like, oh my God, why am I even telling people what to do? But things just don't work all the time. And I think if you've got a robust system and you can keep producing content and keep feeding the beast, if something doesn't work, it just disappears further down the grid and you don't get hung up about it and you don't worry about it. And I think it's a bit like when we colour wedding, there's always shots where someone walked in front of the camera or someone closed their eyes or the flash didn't fire, and we don't think, oh, I'm never going to use that flash again in case it does. Like, stuff doesn't work. When you're creative, there's mistakes all the time, and you just have to, if you can look at it and give it a few moments to think, well, maybe I could try something a bit different next time. But also, maybe it was perfect and it just flopped. And we don't know. I'm not going to spend any more time thinking about it. I'll just try something slightly different next time.
Do you, so in that vein, when something does really well and it was like 6 months ago, will you reproduce that content again?
Yeah, I try to, because it's good practice too, because there's absolutely no problem in doing it. I do try to. And I try to not worry about using the same audio like songs.
Exactly. Exactly.
I can't remember, then nobody else is going to remember either. So I do try to repurpose things, and I don't spend ages on TikTok. I spend much more time on Instagram. But I've had massive successes with the odd TikTok, and I've recreated the format several times. Sometimes it's literally had like 25 views and absolutely tanked. And then other times it's done really, really well again. And I've had a flurry of inquiries and bookings. So yeah, I do repeat what works. Probably not as much as I should, because I get bored and want to try something different.
No, I totally get it. But I think that's another bit of gold, that people are really sitting on so much already that they could just reproduce and repackage. So whenever I'm feeling, I suppose not lazy, well, maybe lazy, but I don't really want to show up on social media, I repackage what's already
Yeah.
there, which I know has probably been seen, but it's been 6 months, so I go back and do it again.
Mm.
And what I love about TikTok is that it'll tell you what you did on this day, like
Okay.
the year before,
Right.
and you can re-edit that and repost it.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I just post that to my
Mm.
stories as really quick content, or I'll redo it and repost it as an actual post, because it allows you to do
Yeah.
that. And that's when I say, like, look in your archives of your stories, and this you're probably sitting on so much
Well,
already that you
when
don't know about.
when I share a story, I quite often save it onto my B-roll on my phone as well, so that I've got that same
You've got it.
content. And quite often it's just me in the middle of a massive rainstorm holding my camera going, but I use those all the time. So I always just make, because I know if it's left on my main camera roll, it will never see the light of day. So I'm really organised about where I put different things so that I can access them really quickly. So my whole system is about getting rid of that blank page anxiety about not knowing what to post. So it's easier for me to go onto the Edits app, select a template, and chuck some stuff into it than it is to sit there and wonder what to do. Like, it literally will take me less than 5 minutes to do the whole thing and add the caption.
Is that something you learned with your marketing background, or is that just experience?
No, it's 11 years since I stopped doing a marketing job, so stuff has changed so much. Yeah. I think when I finished the last couple of years in that job, my role was looking at trends in digital marketing, but like, that has literally changed so much since then. Right. So it's just, I think it's just understanding how my brain works and what's going to stop me from procrastinating and mean that I can just access everything. So like you, I have ideas when I'm out about doing things, but I always have a format where I can just store that idea really quickly, and then when I need, I can put together a reel or a TikTok really, like, in a couple of minutes. I know I've got a list of hooks or thoughts that I can just paste in, so I'm not having to start with a blank canvas, as it were. I can just pick things from different bits, and it's a bit like cooking, I suppose, isn't it? It is, like, isn't it? All the different ingredients, and you can chuck them together.
No, I love that. I think I need to get slightly more organised. I mean, I tried by having all my favourite images. I create a PicTime gallery, so there's a one for 2024, 2025, and I did think about dividing them into scenes like flowers, shoes, but I did not get that far. I was like, no, that's too much. But I know where my best images are, so I'm not having to hunt per wedding. They're all in one place, so I can grab them. But I do like the idea of actually sectioning it out in my camera roll on my phone, so I don't even have to get into PicTime and all that.
No, you've just got to remove as many barriers as you can. And those folders only have resized vertical images in, absolutely nothing else at all. So I know that I can instantly drop them.
That's good as well. Okay, so do you have a posting schedule? Like, do you know? So it's just whenever you fancy it, right? Yeah, I love that, because that's exactly what I'm like.
I get asked that loads, actually. Like, is it important when, like, what time of day you post? I'm like, well, I don't think it is really for weddings. Obviously, if you're like a coffee shop, then you're going to want to be posting at like maybe 6, 7 in the morning when people are on the way to work and thinking about coffee, or the night before to say, come to us for coffee in the morning. So it's a bit more time sensitive. Weddings are generally planned over a much longer time frame. So I think, obviously, there are times when there's going to be more people online, so you're going to get more engagement quicker, which is important. But I think way more important than timing is the quality of the content. I think it's... And I get excited when I've got something ready to go. I'm like,
just post it.
Until 5 o'clock, I'm posting it now.
4:03. Should I post it?
And then I'm like, it's probably a different time in America anyway. There might be loads of people who want to watch it there.
Right. So I agree. I know there are some times I'm like, I know it's going to perform well because people are going to be online. But most of the time, like, if it's good content, it's good content. Full stop. It will do well. So unless there's a glitch in the bloody matrix. So do you use Pinterest? which is I know is not
Yeah.
social media, it's
No,
a search engine.
I only use it for like my own ideas and creativity. So I use it all
Oh,
the
right.
time. Yeah, it's always, this is really sad, but generally it's the last thing I do before I go to sleep. It's like
Is it? Do you know?
Pinterest. I love it because I
Oh,
find it really
okay.
relaxing, and I'll just save things into like a photo ideas folder or like outfits.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
I love it.
I want to get into that because some of my favorite TikTokers, because I am one of those saddos who will watch someone's whole day.
Mm,
Corporate girly going to work from getting ready,
yeah.
and there are people who every night before bed they're scrolling Pinterest. I'm
Mm,
like,
yeah.
that's where they're getting how
Yeah.
their nice outfit ideas from. They
It's
actually go
really
to bed thinking about it.
the
So,
algorithm's
yeah,
really good
yeah,
on there as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Right, because
yeah,
that's changed as well, hasn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I have in the past. So the last couple of years, I've seemed to have been busy all year round. I think like winter weddings and winter elopements are really popular in the lakes at
Right.
the moment. I don't know if it's a lot of people really want those moody, atmospheric
Yeah.
landscape shots, and it's cheaper in January and
Mm,
February. So I don't really feel like I've had a big block of time off to work
right.
on things. But in the past, I have, and I've done things like SEO, like I was saying before, or Pinterest, and I've put loads of effort into it. And then, yeah, I've just not done that for the last couple
Mm,
of years. But I do think that it has quite good longevity on Pinterest. If you even if you do it once every 2 years, those posts
mm,
still gain traction. It doesn't disappear as quickly as it does
ex-
on other social media.
exactly. That's the key to it, isn't it?
Mm.
It's a long game as well. Yeah. I mean, if social media disappeared tomorrow, what would you do to keep your inquiries going?
So I would shit myself. And
So would I.
and I couldn't even put it on behind the scenes. No, I would like I think the most important thing is my relationships with venues. That's where I
Okay.
get the most because I do a lot of repeat. I'm at the same venues all the time. Having said
Mm,
that, a lot of my relationship with them is based on the fact that I do my social media marketing really well, and that
yeah.
helps them in turn. So that would be different. We'd have to look at that. Uh, but I do. I think websites are still really important. I have
Yeah.
quite a lot of older clients with people wanting smaller weddings, so I know the website. And my website is like a very big. It's a huge website with loads of content and advice and
Right.
education and venue pages and venues by season and like so much
Right.
stuff on there. So I still think that would work well. And same with my brochures; they're very full of useful content to kind of make them stand out. They're not so much promotional as like a kind of guidebook to eloping and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like in terms of the time I spend on marketing, social media is the thing that's constant that I'm doing
Hmm.
all year round. And the
Hmm.
rest of it is something I'll probably do once every 6 months or 12
Yeah.
months.
Hmm.
Apart from relationships, that's ongoing as well.
Ongoing, isn't it? But it's nice to know I suppose your eggs aren't really in one basket. So
No, I
it's
don't.
you're
Yeah,
not saying it's all social media. There's other influences there as well. So
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm presuming it would go for everyone, not just go for me. Because if it just went for me, that would be
Just you.
if everyone's in the same
Just you.
basket.
Oh, Tyree's not getting much more
Like a
tips
bam,
stories.
I'd have to settle again.
Something else I really want to talk to you about because it is something I'm interested in doing, though I don't know if my kids are, is that I've noticed that you've had, is it your daughter
Yeah.
who's got involved in your with photography? How did that come about? Give me all the tips because I'm trying to convince my children to join the business and they're not having it.
No,
How have you done it?
yeah, I was the same. I didn't try very hard, to be honest, but I'm not a fan of trying to make teenagers do things because it just
Who is?
doesn't work out well for anyone, does it? But I did ask somewhere a few times. I was like, "Do you not fancy coming along to a wedding? Do you not want to-" No, not really interested.
Okay.
Then she did start working at a local wedding venue, just kind of
Yeah.
helping out, and loved it. and then came back with her own wedding grants and bants, and we'd talk about weddings, and we'd both come back from different weddings. Oh, how was your wedding? So she kind of got a bit of insight into the world of weddings and
Right.
realised that it's quite interesting and quite fun and hard work, and everything that goes with it, which helped, I think. And then we went. So last Easter, the two of us went to Benidorm for a short break. Well, I should say it was via Giosa, but we did actually go into Benidorm.
Did you have a mobility scooter?
Oh my god, we saw so many. And they're incredible. They're massive. Like what do you call it when you have two people on a bike? I can't think of the word.
The Norca 9.
They were like those. But mobility scooters. They were absolutely
Oh my god.
Just pulled up against every bar. It was
twin bike,
Sam, what do you call a bike with two people on? Tandem. That's it.
My head was going tripod.
Yeah,
no,
that's what I was
tandem.
Yeah, we saw quite a lot of tandem mobility
scooters
with very happy people on them going from bar to bar. And we wondered whether you're allowed to drive them after you've been to several bars. I don't know. But that wasn't the main reason. That wasn't the reason we went. It was to do research into mobility scooters. We also went so that I could teach her how to use a film camera. So
right.
I've got my mum's old film camera, and I bought one for summer, and we both went and shot film for a few days. And she loved it, and she took some amazing photos. Oh, I've got one here. There she is in Benidorm.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so we just had like a little mini photo break together. I really enjoyed it. And then when she came back, I was like, maybe I could get and so she just started coming along to weddings for free. Like I kind of identified ones where I felt like the couple would like it and they were going to be friendly, and that some of them had their own kids. So I knew she'd be great helping out kids, which is quite often hard at a small wedding when there's no one else to, I'm trying to look after the kids and take portraits of just the parents. And so, she just came along and kind of fell into doing it. I think it helped that it was film, because I kept saying film is so unpredictable anyway. Like there's no pressure in a way. Like if it goes completely wrong, you can just say that the film, the film goes wrong all the time, and it's an extra. Well, it's true though, isn't it? You can't tell. You can't. Why are you laughing?
Why is your thumb over this picture? Oh, it's film.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that happens with film, do you know?
It does,
but it is more. There's less pressure in the moment. Like obviously, it's more pressure shooting film because you can't see what's going on and you have no idea. But when you're shooting it as an extra and the main part of the wedding is being covered by me anyway, it felt like there was less pressure on it. And so now she's built up a really great portfolio of film photos, which have all worked, touch wood, perfectly. Well, not every single one, but she's delivered way more than I would have expected for every wedding.
That's amazing.
And so now we have put together a package where she will be like paid for, added on.
Yeah.
And it's really popular. We've not marketed it massively, but we get bookings for it all the time. And what's going to happen now, because she's off to uni in September.
Right.
So now I'm looking at maybe getting some other people who can fill gaps that she can't do. So I'm taking bookings for a couple of years ahead. And obviously I don't know what she'll be up to at that point, but she's on the contract, it's down that she's like the first choice of second shooter, but it may be somebody else. So it's helped.
I suppose it's opened up another thing, hasn't it? It's made you go, okay, if she can't do it, maybe then someone else could do it, and it's just opened up a whole new thing. Sorry, that's the best word I can come up with. Avenue. On my mobility scooter.
Yeah.
That's really. How did you broach with the couple that you were bringing someone along? Along, did you have to say that you were child? Like, what did you say to them?
It was just. I'm always upfront with couples. I'm just
literally
would say my daughter's 16 or 17 or whatever, and she's just learned how to use a film camera. I think we were able to show them some stuff that she set up her own Instagram now as well, so we can always point people at that. And if you fancy her coming along too, she's great. She's got loads of experience of weddings, and I know she'll be absolutely no trouble at all. She'll be the opposite. She'll be helpful, and yeah, everybody was more than happy to have her come along.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It didn't take many weddings to then be in a position where she had enough to have a portfolio that we could show. Yeah. And sometimes I'll have film cameras and the 8mm as well, right, so that I can. For example, at ceremony, she'll be right at the back most of the time, because it would be terrifying for her to be and also like you're squished up at the front, aren't you? So sometimes I'll grab a couple of extra bits here and there as well.
Okay.
Yes, she just.
Would she do any of the BTS for you as well?
Yeah, she's done it. Yeah, she has done a little bit, but again, you do forget to do that. Something's going on. But yeah, no, she has grabbed bits, and I've just bought the. I know you've seen it.
Very nice.
So that was kind of for summer as well. I say that it was because with shooting film, obviously it's a lot slower and more considered. So when you're at a wedding for 10 or 11 hours, there's a lot of time when you're not actually taking the pictures, and you're more likely to feel awkward when you're not doing anything. So I thought, if I can get a film-like camera as well, then she can start using that, and it can almost become either part of that package or even a different one, because the developing costs obviously are massive for a proper film package. So this is like an extra that she can sort of become more of a second shooter and start using that as well.
That's great.
And then, I don't know, maybe get into editing them and that kind of thing.
I was going to say, has she looked at Lightroom and editing and all that? Right, okay.
No, she's just doing her A-levels at the moment, so.
Okay, she's got enough on her plate.
She's kind of busy.
Can you cull this bloody wedding?
Can you just get into Lightroom? I have 150 weddings this year. I need to get you upskilled quickly.
Because I know my son's got work experience next year, and I whispered to him and went, "You're spending a week with me and a week with your dad," because he doesn't want to know. I don't think he doesn't get the point of photos. He's a lot more I suppose engineering minded.
That's what my son does engineering.
And it's very black and white. It's like, what do I need to take a picture of this for? My daughter desperately wants to do it. But I did wonder, how to get them involved, and it'd be nice. It'd be nice for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about what they think.
Yeah. It's great.
Who cares?
Just get her a job in a wedding venue first.
Do something completely different, and then you'll come back to me and go, "Oh, do you think I could join?" Of course you can. Oh dear. Oh, it's been fantastic talking to you. I'm not going to take up much more of your time. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
But you've given us so many gems. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Was there anything that you wanted to say?
I don't know. I never thought about it. No, I'm not selling anything. If anyone wants to book an elopement or wedding photographer in the lakes.
Oh, that's the thing. Would you ever do like training on social media or anything like that?
No. Not yet.
No, not interested.
No,
not yet.
Yeah.
Little folks, she's scribbling in a notebook right now.
Yeah. So I did the talk last week, and I enjoyed it, and I found it really interesting putting all my thoughts together, and I loved it when people came up afterwards and said it was useful, and I've been getting nice little messages of people going, "I've just done this, and I've got folders on my phone," and I'm like,
"Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, it's lovely, and I've probably not really seen that side of teaching. I'm from a family of teachers and educators, but I've never really done it before, and it was like, I can see how this would be addictive. It's actually really nice.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is. You get such a buzz from it. Absolutely agree.
But, with my business hat on, having to pay for 2 kids at university and seeing how expensive that is,
and running a venue,
not being a good business choice for me right now, given that it takes me about 400 years to produce a PowerPoint for 45 minutes. I would not be making enough money. So my plan for the next few years until the kids are through uni is to carry on working as
Right.
ridiculously as hard as I am at the moment. And I still love it. I still love
Yeah.
the wedding, and keeps me out of mischief mostly. So I'll do that for the next few years, and then after that, probably collapse in a heap and become a travel blogger or something. Start a
You
wedding venue. Don't know.
on your mobility scooter.
I'm on a tandem. Yeah.
I'll join you. Can I sit in the back?
Oh yeah, we can go from bar to bar, getting behind the scenes. That sounds perfect. I'm already thinking we could start a business.
But in my head, I'm holding a big map, and I'm like,
street photography by tandem. Amazing. We can drive.
let's do it.
The paying clients can be in the back. We can go around Spain. Great.
We could come up with all sorts.
Mm.
We're doing this. Let's do this.
We need a name.
And then it'll become a TV program, like Four in a Bed, and there'll be.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, what's the one where they go around on the bike, the motorbike, and I don't know. It'd be like Race Across the World. But...
Well, isn't that the two chefs who do
Yeah,
that?
I can't think. I don't know. It's going to be another tandem moment. We need to move on.
We do.
I think there is strong potential for a TV series.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad we've got that sorted. We've got our exit plan. We've only just met. But we've got our exit plan sorted. That's good.
Oh, dearie, thank you so much for today. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was great.
And thank you for all the gems that you've dropped. If people would like to find you, and I'm sure that they will, where can they find you? Because, where are your profiles? What's your website?
So I'm Tyree Dawson on Instagram, TIREE, DAWSON, not Tired Dawson, because it's literally one letter away, the D and E. I get a lot of Dear Tired. Hello, Tired. We'd like to catch up about our wedding. Like, yeah, you're so right. I really am. So Instagram, TikTok, that's it.
Perfect. That's brilliant. I'll put the links in the show notes as well. I think that's what other people say, so I'll say the same. And
just copy, steal like an artist, Gina.
And as Stephen Bartlett would say, please subscribe to this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyree, remember what you said?
I said, yes, everyone. If you listen to podcasts, be like me. From now on, I'm going to actually engage and comment and like, and not just flick onto the next one, because I never give anyone feedback on podcasts and I feel bad. So now I'm going to make an effort. So if everyone could comment and like on this podcast, that'd be really good for both me and Gina, because it'll make me feel like it was worthwhile.
There you go. That's from the Queen of the Lakes.
Right. Lady of the Lakes.
Lady of the Lakes.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
If something in here got you thinking, let me know. Drop me a message on Instagram at Gina Fernandez Photography. If you're listening on Spotify, you can drop me a comment on the episode, and there's always a poll in the show notes. I love hearing your take. And hey, if you're enjoying the pod, a quick rating or review really helps. We all know engagement really helps. If you fancy jumping on an episode to chat all things business or wedding world highs and headaches, send me a DM. I'm always up for a good conversation. Catch you in the next one.